Think of every tear you've shed as nothing more than a salty droplet. Well, hold back that tear-wiping hand for a moment and think again. Because tears, dear listeners, are not just an expression of our emotions, they're a treasure trove of fascinating insights. Scientists, artists, and entrepreneurs have all found unique uses for these teardrops, adding a whole new level of depth to the saying, "I'll give you something to cry about." And these uses? They range from monitoring health through tear content to crafting bitters with an emotional infusion. Even a publicity stunt to promote mental health awareness found a place for bottled tears. And when you thought you'd heard it all, one artist even squirts paint from his eye onto canvas, creating abstract splatters. But that's not all. Oh no, the most intriguing, most curious thing of all is, well, you'll discover it soon enough. Hey there, curiosity explorers. Ready for another dive into the unknown? I'm your host Cesar, and with me is the ever-insightful Sonia. We're about to delve deep into the fascinating world of tears and their unexpected uses.
Hey, fellow knowledge seekers. I've got my tissues ready. Are you eager to find out what makes those teardrops so special?
Your participation is crucial, folks. So don't forget to subscribe to Curiosity Wonderland. Share your thoughts in the comments and spread the word about our daily journey into the world of curiosities. Are you ready? Let's get started. Our tears, they are far from being just salty water. They are essentially filtered blood containing traces of glucose and other substances found in our bloodstream. So, it's no wonder that scientists have started exploring the possibility of discovering markers of illnesses in tears.
So, we are literally leaking information. Incredible.
Exactly. Imagine detecting diseases such as cancer and Parkinson's from our tears. It turns out that tears might even hold the key to understanding the impact of long space travels on human health. At least that's what NASA proposed back in 2018.
Well, that's an eye-opening revelation. So, we've been overlooking a potential treasure trove of health information all this time.
Indeed. And here's another surprising fact. Despite popular belief that tears were collected in beautiful glass bottles known as lacrimatory or tear catchers during mourning in ancient times, recent scientific investigations suggest otherwise.
So, the romantic notion of collecting sorrow-filled tears might just be a myth then?
It certainly seems so. The evidence points towards these so-called tear catchers being used more for holding perfume than tears. Quite the plot twist, isn't it?
Absolutely. It seems like there's more to tears than meets the eye.
Ready for a strange twist? Imagine using tears to make a bottle of bitters more bitter.
Wait, you mean like in cocktails?
Exactly. In 2015, a food art firm used tears as an emotional infusion while brewing bitters.
I have to ask, wouldn't that make the drink taste like salt water?
Surprisingly, no. The impact of the tears on the flavor was minimal and got overpowered by the alcohol and other ingredients.
So tears in drinks, that's a new one. But doesn't stop there, does it?
No, it doesn't. In 2017, Chris Hughes, a British farmer who gained fame from a reality show, started his own unique brand of mineral water using his tears.
You're telling me people were drinking celebrity tears?
Not exactly. It was more of an awareness campaign for mental health. But it does show the lengths to which people go when it comes to using or collecting tears. The concept of bottling tears isn't entirely a new idea. In fact, it was used as a publicity stunt by Chris Hughes, a British reality show star, who claimed to have a mineral water brand infused with his own tears.
You're kidding, right?
Believe it or not, it's true. The campaign was aimed at promoting World Mental Health Day and addressing the problem of men bottling up their emotions.
I think I see a pattern here with celebrities and tears.
You're right. In 2018, singer Noah Cyrus did something similar. She created a merchandise line referencing her breakup with rapper Lil Xan. The standout item? A bottle of her own tears, priced at a whopping $12,000.
$12,000 for tears? Who would buy that?
It turned out one of her fans actually started a GoFundMe campaign to buy the bottle and managed to raise over $12,000. But it was all a stunt, and Cyrus had to offer reimbursements and backstage passes to her show.
And here I thought we'd reached the peak of tear usage.
Not yet. Here's where it gets even weirder. In 2013, a collaboration between a scientist and a scent expert used bacteria gathered from human bodies, including tears, to make cheese.
Okay, that's next level. I think I'll stick to cheddar cheese for now.
So we've seen tears used in beverages, merchandise, and even cheese. But how about using tears as a form of self-defense?
Self-defense, how does that work?
A study from 2023 uncovered that male aggression can be reduced by up to 43.7% if men smell women's tears. This fascinating discovery was made using emotional tears collected from women who cried while watching a sad film clip.
That's astonishing, but it sounds like it would take a lot of tears.
Indeed, the average donation only yielded about 1.6 milliliters. The process of collecting enough tears for the study took up to 25 days.
I guess that's why most research focuses on sweat. So tears as a self-defense mechanism, what's next?
Well, did you ever think of tears as a painting medium?
A painting medium? No way.
Yes, in fact, an Argentinian artist named Leandro Granado used his tears to create his paintings. But these weren't ordinary tears. They contained paint that he inserted through his nose and then squirted out from his eyes onto a canvas.
Tears have truly come a long way from just being a sign of sadness or joy. It's amazing how they've been used throughout history and in modern times.
Our journey into the world of tears has taken us from bottled tears to tear-infused cheese and even self-defense. But let's explore tears as an art form and a source of power.
Art and power. I'm intrigued.
The Argentinian artist Leandro Granado, who literally cried paint, managed to sell his tear art masterpieces for over $2,000 each.
That's a rather unique talent. And what about the power part?
We'll get there. But first, let's talk about Rosalind Fisher, a photographer who magnified her tears 100 times to capture their intricate topography-like patterns. She called this project the topography of tears.
That sounds mesmerizing, a whole new perspective on tears.
Absolutely. Now moving on to power, researchers at the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore have created a tiny battery less than a millimeter thick that can be charged using tears. This could potentially power smart contact lenses.
Wow, tears charging batteries? That's like science fiction becoming reality.
Indeed, it's a fascinating evolution. These batteries don't even need traditional metal wires and are made from materials safe for the human eye. They use the sodium and chloride ions present in tears.
It seems like tears are more versatile than we ever imagined, from expressions of emotion to elements of art and technology. What a journey we've had today.
Well, seems like the mystery of tears goes far beyond the corners of our eyes. Instead of seeing them merely as a sign of emotion, we've discovered that tears can tell tales of our health, become an art medium, a self-defense mechanism, and even power up smart contact lenses. Looks like we've really given you something to cry about.
And believe me, these aren't just crocodile tears. We've journeyed through the fascinating world of tear collection, and it's been an eye-opening experience. Don't forget to blast that like button and share your thoughts and comments. Go ahead and share this episode with your friends too. Maybe it'll bring them to tears.
Thank you for joining us on this emotional roller coaster. And remember, every tear tells a story, so let them flow.
Absolutely. Until next time, stay curious.
This fascinating journey into the world of tears was brought to you courtesy of an article titled 10 Cool and Creepy Facts About Collecting Tears, penned by Kieran Torbuck, and published on Listverse on April 13th, 2024. You can find the full URL in the video description if you're keen to explore more. Until our next tearful adventure, stay curious.